The year was 2015. A shark performed at the Super Bowl, and no one could tell the difference between the colors of a dress. Trace, baby Trace, was also in high school at this time. I spent most of my days after school watching The Office and building Clash of Clans bases. Something else transformative happened in 2015, and it wasn't the release of Overwatch. It was the release of Rainbow Six Siege. Now, my most popular game at that time was Black Ops 3. I was playing Fallout 4, and I watched a streamer named Massive G. Shout out to you. I don't know if you upload anymore, but he played a lot of Fallout 4. He had this super cool, deep voice.
Whoa! Whoa! Oh, yeah! Yeah!
But one day, he was not streaming Fallout 4. He was streaming a game called Rainbow Six Siege that had just came out with its newest DLC, Black Ice. Now, I was used to Black Ops 3, I was used to Call of Duty fast-paced action, but when I saw this game, I immediately had an idea. So I got off Clash of Clans, I got off my tablet, and I stopped playing Subway Surfers. I put it down for a second. And I knew my parents were not going to let me get a new game because I had gotten Black Ops 3 recently, and they were not about to go down to GameStop again. My grandma was in town. Hi, Grandma. Can you take me to GameStop? There's something I really want to get. So yes, I fully took advantage of my grandma to get me Rainbow Six Siege back then. I was such a good grandchild. It worked. And lo and behold, I was home just a half hour later with a copy of Rainbow Six Siege. Now, the early copy of Rainbow Six Siege came with this like promo thing where you got your gold skin for all the default weapons, which was pretty sick. I immediately became obsessed. I was not playing on PC, I was playing on PS4. And if any of you were around back then, console Rainbow Six Siege upon launch was pretty terrible. Everyone was going recruit. There was no strategy. In fact, my first operator that I mained was Fuse because no one knew how to counter him. No one knew what the audio cues were. So I was that guy getting like 2 or 3 kills around just using my Fuse clusters and also killing the hostage a few times accidentally. Now, around this time, I had just started telling my friends about it. It was my freshman year of high school. I looked like this. And I was obsessed with Siege, and I went to school every day, and I tried to convince my friends to get it. But, you know, it's 2015. We're high schoolers. We don't have that much money. But luckily, I was able to convince a couple of my close friends who were also big Call of Duty fans to hop in and try it out. So I got my friends on to try it out, and this is around year 1, season 3. Skull Rain, Caveira, Capitao came out. Everyone's running around in the dark, hellish nightmare that is favelas, and Frost was still completely broken. The Super 90 was going nuts. Blackbeard's shield still had like 200 HP, probably 800 HP, something like that. It was so much fun. None of us knew any callouts, none of us knew any strategies. It was blow open the doors, run in, and try to get some kills. Recruit rushing was still a thing, and we were just having an incredible time. One of my favorite memories from this time for Rainbow Six was I got grounded for not obeying my parents, and I couldn't play any video games. And it was the release of Velvet Shell. Mira and Jackal had just come out, and so what I did was I told my parents I was going to study at a friend's house after school. My friend was not there. He was at Burger King, I think, working, and I was signed in on his PlayStation 4. So I went over there and played the launch of the new season for like 3 or 4 hours, went home, parents none the wiser. Don't tell my dad about that. But that's just how obsessed I was with the game. Unfortunately, after a few months, you know, there's a lot of controversy around some of the operators getting released being too futuristic for some of the player base. And sadly, a bunch of my friends went back to Call of Duty and other games that were coming out at the time. I was still obsessed. I was still dedicated, and I kept grinding and kept grinding. Now, if you were around in the old days, again, solo queue and ranked was horrendous. It was 99% of the time you had no teammates with any game knowledge at all. I'm not saying my aim or my callouts were any better in the day, but I was actually trying and actually taking it seriously. You can ask any of my family. I was often angry anytime I was playing ranked Rainbow Six Siege, but I was very proud, and I'm proud to report that I made it to Plat 2 in the old ranked system, where it was just gold and then Plat and then diamond. So I was very, very proud of myself, and I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of sad times, but also a lot of fun getting to that point. As my high school years went on, and more seasons of Rainbow Six came out, I started really getting into the strategy side of things and actually learning how to play based on my mechanics, based on map knowledge. And that was when I started watching creators. I watched Serenity 17. I watched Macy J was a big one. And then for the funny videos, I watched Tio. I just started, Macy J specifically was a huge inspiration to me, as he was for many other players, coming up with pulse C4ing from underneath and those pre-placed C4s and things like that. It was incredible to learn from them and see the great aim, and went on to watch Bolo and other more pro players like that. But as I started to actually get better at the game and focus on, actual strategy and playing in a 5-stack, what I would queue with people online, I just kept trying to be better and better and better. In 2017, I watched my first professional Rainbow Six match and got into esports for the first time. The team that really inspired me and that I always loved to watch was the 2017 Evil Geniuses roster. We got incredible players like NVK, Young, Necrox, BC, and my favorite, Canadian, who is still a pro player today, which is incredible. I loved watching that team. I loved watching their recruit Riot Shield plays. Canadian on Buck was a masterpiece. Dude was insane. For this video, going back and looking through some of those clips from some of their matches, it was so much nostalgia seeing them on Old Hereford, just rushing in through the basement and things like that. Great time. And introduced me to esports and the potential that professional gaming was an option for some people. After hitting what felt like the skill ceiling in console Siege, I decided to try to get into PC and learn how to play on mouse and keyboard. Now, I'd been playing a lot of Counter-Strike on computers, so I was getting more comfortable with my aim, but the problem is Ubisoft was being Ubisoft and not letting me transfer my data from my console to the computer. It was a huge ordeal, and it took nearly 2 years before I could switch my data to PC, which was so frustrating. But yeah, during the pandemic, after 4.5-5 years of playing on PS4, I finally got onto PC Siege. PC Siege is a whole nother beast, coming from console and having to relearn the game, basically relearn aiming, relearn movement, how to use abilities and all those types of things. It was incredibly difficult. I remember in my first ever PC season, I actually did get up into platinum, but that was because I had a friend who carried me to platinum. Most seasons I was able to stay around gold. I quickly became even more obsessed with Siege, learning that, I could get better and better and start climbing into those higher ranks. It was around the same time that I went off to college. I took my whole PC setup, double monitors, the big beastie tower with me up to my dorm room, to my roommate's dismay. But I kept grinding and kept learning the game. And esports became a bigger part of my life at that point. I was watching it more consistently. I was watching and playing a lot of Valorant esports as well. And it was in 2021, still under pandemic restrictions, that I decided at my university to start my own esports club. I was doing that mainly for Valorant because we had a lot of Valorant players on my campus, but that was something that was really fun and really exciting to do. And then it was also in college that Siege allowed me to connect a lot with my brother. My brother is almost 4 years younger than me, and it was really cool to get him into the game kind of later in life, and then for us to connect over that while I was in college. It was so much fun duoing together in ranked and losing together, winning together, getting clutches, seeing him get his first ace, those types of things. It was so much fun, and it really just, again, created some incredible memories for me in this game, and I'm really, really thankful for that. As my esports club grew, I kept playing Siege, and it grew so fast that I actually had to stop playing for our Valorant team because we had too many people. We had multiple teams. We had League of Legends, we had Valorant. We had like 2 League teams, 2 Valorant teams. It was getting really big. We had Super Smash Bros. Tournaments. And so I actually had to, step off the roster and actually go into full-time coaching and full-time being president of the club, running the club, doing the finances, working with my team, my vice president, secretary, those people. And that was when I just started getting into the logistics and started building up the practical skills and things like that of running an esports organization and those types of things, all while going to college. It became this whole other side project, this whole other side job, and it started, filling up my life, and I was having a ton of fun, and I was working with some of the administration at the school, working with the athletic director, working with our club sports director, trying to expand, trying to make it bigger and get more support. Unfortunately, we weren't able to turn it into, the thing that collegiate esports is now while I was there, getting a whole esports lab, getting a full-time coach, those types of things. But I was able to be hired for one semester to be the official first esports coach there. To get paid to run that organization was a dream come true, and I had so much fun. And it was there that gave me the practical skills to move on and to do what I do now, which is to be a full-time esports head coach. I now get to coach a Siege team as my full-time job, and I coach some other teams as well, Valorant and Overwatch and Rocket League. But Rainbow Six Siege is what got me into esports. It's what got me into treating this as something that could be a full-time job. It got me into creating strategy books. It got me into creating plays and map strategies, operator compositions, all these more technical abilities, watching pro teams and taking notes on them, watching VOD and film review. I was just inspired by this game. It's not like Valorant, it's not like Counter-Strike, it's not like some of these other hero shooters like Overwatch. The map destruction allows for so much creativity. And as more operators and more operators and more operators kept coming out along with new maps and new content, there was always so much to learn and so much to explore. And again, huge shout out to a lot of the creators out there who inspired me to keep playing and keep learning and trying new tricks. I remember when Solus came out, watching Macy J videos constantly, trying to figure out the best way to play and learning how overpowered she could be and just trying all these new strategies again. And now as a full-time esports coach, it's incredible to use these strategies with my team and to come into the esports room, sending each other different clips that we've seen on TikTok or YouTube and being like, we need to try this in our match. And then getting to execute real strategies that I came up with in competitive tournaments has been, I can't even tell you what a good feeling that is. To see a strategy that I came up with in my office just executed perfectly by my team in a match, and to see my team do well and get excited and fist bump and stuff like that, It's like if you would have told 15-year-old, 16-year-old Trace that he was going to be creating siege strategies for a tournament, when he was 24, I wouldn't have believed you at all. I just wanted to talk about this game because it's something that I love. It's been something I've been playing for 10 years now, which is actually insane. From playing Yacht in 2015 to now playing Lair in 2024, 2025. This game has done so much for me. And have I raged? Yes. But have I also gotten last second 1v4 clutches? Yes. There's nothing like this game out there, and I don't think anything else out there will ever touch what this game has built, the community it's built. I have friends that I've met online, friends that I've been able to meet in person because of Rainbow Six and going to tournaments and things like that. So I'm eternally grateful. It's inspired me to build a career for myself. It's inspired me to think outside of the box, to build communication skills, to learn what it's like to run a team. And I'm always thankful for that. So thank you, Rainbow Six. Thank you, Ubisoft. You actually did something right. Thanks for listening, guys. See ya.